Hello and welcome to another video. In the last video I showed you how to add a potentiometer to the ESP32 so you can read values on the Pi and then use an LED to control its brightness via BLE. In this final part of the series we will be moving towards button control, where we will print messages and then control an LED. This will be accompanied by a Medium article linked in the description. Let's begin. Hey guys, so I forgot to add this in the video, but I will add it here instead. So this is the setup for our project here. So as you can see, we have our button here, and of course we have our LEDs as always. One is connected to pin 17, the other one to pin 27, and then we have a common ground. Here we have one side of the button connects to ground and the other to pin 15. You can use any other pin assignment you want, and you can pretty much use any kind of ESP32 as you want. So that's really it for the setup. I'm sorry I didn't add it, so back to the video. Alright, let's begin. Now first we need to set up the Pi with Blink. I will link a video above here so you can check that out. But if you need a refresher, you need to create a virtual environment, which I did here, activate the environment, which I've already done, and install GPIO 0 PyGPIO mblink, which I've already done. So if we go to ls, I have all the relevant files. Now that will be it for the setup, but I also forgot you need to do PyGPIOD, so you need to run this command, sudo PyGPIOD, which I've already done. So this is only if you're running the light version. For the desktop version, you don't need to do that. On the ESP32, I have AIO BLE already installed and ready to go, just like I did before. I had to copy it myself because it couldn't install through tools, which is understandable because this has happened before. So now let's get to the code. Okay, so let's start with the Pico side. With BLE button, the only thing that changes from the previous code is that we now have a button defined at pin 15. It's an in and it's a pull up, which means one side of the button will be connected to ground, the other to GPIO pin 15. You can use any other pin you'd like, so just change the code to how you want. So everything else stays the same with the UUIDs, our services, and our functions, except right here. So if our button value is 0, then the message will be 0, else the message will be 1. And the reason for that is because it's a pull up. Hence, we are at 0. So if I press the button, the value will be 0. But if I let go of it, it's 1. However, if it's a pull down, where I connect to one leg of the button to 3.3 volts rather than ground, it will be pulled down, and hence it will be the reverse. So if you'd like to try it with a pull down button, you can certainly try that, and it's not too difficult to change the buttons. Anyways, everything else stays the same, nothing has changed here. Now let's move on to ESP32 Connect. Again, it's the same code as before. Nothing has changed here. It's pretty much just the same for the Pi. Except for here, we added the LED right here, and then we added the condition here. So, if it's 0, it'll turn on. If it's not, it'll turn off. And then there's a small delay to match the delay on the Pico, on the ESP32. So it's very similar to the Pico as you'll see here. The only difference is, again, we're not using Pico 0, we are using the regular machine library here. But that's really it. There's nothing in this code that is different from what we did before, which makes this a lot easier to adopt. So now we're going to do two demos, one without the LED just to print statements, and one with the LED. So let's get to demo 1 right away. Alright guys, so the code is now running, and as you can see when I press the button, it's 0, I let go, it's 1, so it's working just as expected. So everything's working. Now let's stop the code here, and I will stop the code here, and we'll move on to the next demo. Alright guys, so here we are, and the code is running. So let me show you by pressing the button. You'll see the LED right there. See? It is running just fine. And you don't have to just use an LED. You can use a motor, for example, to turn it on and off. It's the same principle, just like this. So, one more time. And that's it for the demo. Thank you for watching this series. This will be the last part of the series. However, I will post a demo soon where I show you how I took everything I learned from this series to create an ESP32 robot controller that will control a Raspberry Pi robot. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next time.